What's up guys, how y'all doing? Cosmic Carry here, bringing you another World of Tanks video. Today I'm going to be reviewing the T34 Tier 5 Soviet medium leading to the Object 430. Yes indeed, let's squeezy. The T34, what to say about this tank? Let's take a look. 450 hit points. Engine power 480, giving it a top speed of 56 kilometers per hour. It might sound like it's fast. It is fast, but the acceleration is not there. It's definitely, I would say, a sluggish tank. Not the most fantastic tank when it comes to speed and maneuverability, but it's okay. We're at tier 5. You know, they're kind of flexing their muscles at the moment. We're just at tier 5. It is what it is. Hull armor is pretty decent, as you can see, and it's pretty nicely sloped and angled, as you can see. Absolutely. So you can side scrape, you can angle, you will get bounces and ricochets. Absolutely. And turret traverse and hull traverse and etc. It's okay. It's nothing fantastic. View range is very decent at 350. So good scouter, spotter, medium, all-rounder, etc. There are actually two choices when it comes to guns, I found, with this tank, and it's totally up to you which one you want to go for. You can either go for rate of fire, high DPM, or you can go for penetration. Let me explain. With the 57mm, you get a humongous rate of fire, 26 rounds per minute. That gives you DPM of over 2,000 a minute, which is really high, but you lose a little bit in penetration, 112. Average pen of tier 5 mediums is around 108, 110, so it's just above average. Or you can go for the high pen gun, 125. Now this is on the higher end when it comes to penetration of tier 5 mediums. Like I said, you know, average pen of a tier 5 medium is around 108, 110. So this is up there. I think it comes second only to the Sherman, which has not that much greater, you know, 128, but penetration millimeters. But of course there are drawbacks when it comes to the Soviet guns. You know, accuracy, you can see 0.4, aim time 2.9. Of course you can add equipment to that, etc. And the same goes for the 57mm. Aim time 2.29, accuracy 0.34. Actually the accuracy pretty decent there. So anyhow, and equipment wise, and one thing that needs to be said is with the Soviets, the mediums especially, I do not run the automatic fire extinguisher, because I've discovered, you know, the Soviets run diesel engines, less chance of fire. So I actually, and today, you know, my T34 is yet to be set on fire. So I actually, it's kind of like kill two birds with one stone. I have two repair kits, you know, the large repair kit and the small repair kit. And the reason for that is I don't have my repair skill, you know, research. I don't even have 6th Sense research. This is, you know, a brand new tank line for me. So I thought, you know, install that, and that way, you know, I don't need to run as equipment, you know, the repairs. That was my thinking anyway. As you can see, I have coated optics. That's going to boost it up to just under 400. Improved fence and enhanced gun lane drive. That's for the aim time. So let's get into it. We're going to, first of all, we're going to roll out in the 57mm, and then we're going to roll out in the 76mm, and I'll show you guys, you know, the differences between high rate of fire or high penetration. A very decent tank, by the way, very decent tank. Had lots of fun. Let's roll out and kill some Reds. Okay, hey ho, let's go. First game we're sporting the 57mm. This is the quick firing gun, lower pen, at 112, rate of fire 26, damage 85, aim time pretty decent 2.29, accuracy 0.34. so remember, you have a choice, either you have high rate of fire or lower higher pen. You know, the choice is yours. Considering how epic this first game is going to be, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to play some epic music. Don't worry, be back in like 2 minutes. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Which gun do I favor? 2k damage. Okay, second game. Glad that we've got that adrenaline pumping game out the way. This is a more methodical, not slower pace, but you can see it's not a slow tank at all. You know, it hits that speed pretty quick, and yeah, it moves, it hustles. And this gameplay, we're on mines, and it's the 76mm, just under 11 rounds a minute, 125 pen, damage 115, aim time 2.9, accuracy 0.4. So two kind of very different guns, you know, very different guns. This one is compared to the 57, it's much slower, it's more methodical, you're kind of placing your shots, all of that good stuff. And I gotta, you know, wrap things up in this battle and kind of discuss the two guns. And in my personal opinion, you know, the 57mm is the gun to go for, you know, 100%, for two reasons. First of all, it is a ton of fun. You know, that rate of fire, it is a ton of fun. It's adrenaline pumping action, World of Tanks. You know, World of Tanks at its best, you know, at its core. That's what you want from World of Tanks when you play World of Tanks. And not only that, with this 76mm, it does have really high pen, don't get me wrong, you know, second only to the M4 Sherman, which has 128 pen as far as mediums at tier 5 are concerned. But you're going to be stuck with this gun. You know, the next tank is the T34, I believe, pardon me, the A43, and you have the 76mm on that gun, on that tank. You're gonna be grinding, and you're still gonna. It's gonna be a variant. There's gonna be, you know, slight changes to the rate of fire. I think the accuracy is pretty much the same. Aim time is different, but the 125 pen stays the same. You know, and at tier 6, it's 125 pen is at the lower end of the scale when it comes to average tier 6 medium penetration. So you possibly maybe going to be struggling at tier 6. I mean, I've played the tank. I've actually, you know, moved on to the next tank. I've kept this tank. I hate the toasters. 200 pen at tier 5, ladies and gentlemen. 200 pen. Well, no, just shy. I think it's 196. But in my personal opinion, grind out the 57mm. Try and keep this tank, you know, because it is a buttload of fun with the 57mm. But the 76mm, you know, I wouldn't do the grind. You know, you're going to be stuck with it on the A43 with exactly the same amount of pen, exactly the same amount of damage, I believe. And but you've gone up a tier. And when tanks, I need to explain something to you, gentlemen. When tanks move up from tier 5 to tier 6, they're unlocking tier 8 tanks, and tier 8 tanks play in tier 10 games. And what am I trying to say? There is a significant leap in penetration when you go from tier 5 to tier 6. Never more so than, you know, between any other two tiers. I'm getting very technical and nerdy here. There is just this massive leap in penetration between tier 5 and tier 6. It is, you know, normally it's usually like, I don't know, it's, you know, 10%, something like that. But it's like when you move from tier 5 to tier 6, it's like in the 20% range, and that's because tier 6 tanks play against tier 8 tanks. And what do tier 8 tanks do? You know, they play against tier 10 tanks. This is my philosophy, this is my opinion, you know, this is my take on the situation. And so without knowing it, when you move up to tier 6, you're kind of unlocking, you're coming into contact with tier 10 without actually, you know, coming into contact with tier 10. Just because when you move up to tier 6, you're unlocking tier 8 tanks, playing with them, and they, you know, play with tier 10. So there's a significant leap in penetration between tier 5 and tier 6 with the mediums, with the heavies, with the TDs. And when you don't get an increase in pen, you know, when you move from the T34 to the A43, from you know, this tank to the next tank, and like, when, you know, I'm wondering, is the A43, the tier 6, going to be a, you know, heartache, misery, a struggle? I'm not sure. You know, I've never had problems with mediums with low penetration, because you simply have to play them as mediums. You have to flank, you have to get the tanks from the side, figure out ways of getting you know, to their rear, etc, etc. But this tank, anyhow, in a nutshell, let's wrap things up. In a nutshell, this tank was fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and I'm keeping it as long as I can. Absolutely. If I need the silver, I guess I'll eventually sell it. I've got a lot of tanks at, you know, I've got a lot of tanks, period. But I'd like to return to it and play it. You know, it's a keeper, especially with the 57mm. Rambled on too much. Take it easy, guys. Adios, muchachos.